Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, September 25th, 2025. MLB, soccer, college football, Thursday night football, my NFL Thursday bet, news and notes, and best bet of the day. Okay, we will begin with baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to the games today. Nationals over the Braves 4-3. Brewers over the Padres 3-1. Rays over the Orioles 6-2. Yankees over the White Sox 8-1. Guardians over the Tigers 5-1. Pirates over the Reds 4-3 and 11. Phillies over the Marlins 11-1. Red Sox over the Blue Jays 7-1. Rangers over the Twins 4-2. Cubs over the Mets 10-3. Angels over the Royals 3-2. Mariners over the Rockies 9-2. Dodgers over the Diamondbacks 5-4 11. Giants over the Cardinals 4-3, and the A's over the Astros 6-0. So, Yanks and Toronto are tied in the division. Guardians sole position first place in the division where it stands right now, and then the Tigers are in the last wild card. Houston's a game back. Okay, and now 2 games going on right now as we speak. Pirates Reds is in a rain delay, and then Rays top of the first just started. 2:30 this afternoon, Twins Rangers, Bailey Ober and Tyler Mahle. Let's see. Rangers minus 144, Twins plus 122, over under 8, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 176, Rangers minus 1.5 plus 146. I'm going to go with the under, but I don't feel good about it. 3:30, Astros A's. Framber Valdez, JT Ginn must win for the Astros. They're minus 118. The A's are even money over under 9.5, minus 10 each way. Stros minus 1.5 plus 132. A's plus 1.5 minus 160. Wow, the Stros are only minus 118 at Oakland. But Oakland's only 75 and 83. Like, not only, but like, they're better than I thought. They're over 70. They're going to finish potentially with over 75 wins. That's an accomplishment for them. They should have their eyes set on a winning record come 2026. I'm taking a minus 118 Houston. They have to win. MLB Network, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Yoshi Yamamoto and Jalen Beeks. The Dodgers minus 164, the D-backs plus 138, over under 8.5, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Dodgers minus 1.5 even money, D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 120. I'm going with the D-backs plus 138. They're still alive in this race. So, I'm going to take them. 6 o'clock, Marlins, Phillies. Jensen Junk and Walker Buehler. Phils minus 162, Marlins plus 136, over under 9, overs minus 122, unders even money. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 154, Phils minus 1.5 plus 128. Do them and the Brewers have the same record? No, they're 2 games apart. Division's done. They're probably going to play the Dodgers. In the DS. I am going to go with an alternate over 10.5 plus 136. 6:30, Tigers, Guardians. You got Troy Melton and Parker Messick. Guardians minus 146, Tigers plus 124, over under 7.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 70, Guardians minus 1.5 plus 140. I'm going to go with the under this time, the opposite of what I gave out for best bet yesterday. 7 o'clock, Yanks, White Sox. Davis Martin, Carlos Rodon, Yankees going for the sweep. They're minus 310. The White Sox plus 250. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. White Sox plus 1.5 is plus 122. Yankees minus 1.5 minus 146. Now I learned my lesson. Funny, the Yanks and the Mariners took against them. I didn't bet against them. I gave them against the run line, against them on the run line out yesterday. Not doing that. I'm gonna go with over 5.5 Yankee runs plus 102. 7 o'clock, Red Sox, Blue Jays. Brian Balow and Louis Varland. Jays minus 138, Red Sox plus 118, over under 8, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Sox plus 1.5 is minus 38, Jays minus 1.5 plus 155. I'm going with the over. 7:30 MLB Network, Mets, Cubs. Nolan McLean and Shota Imanaga. Mets minus 112, Cubs minus 104, over under 7.5, minus 1 each way. Mets minus 1.5 plus 150, Cubs plus 1.5 minus 182. I like the over. 9:30 Royals, Angels. Michael Lorenzen and Mitch Farris. Royals minus 116, Angels minus 102, over under 9.5. Overs even money, unders minus 122. Royals minus 1.5 plus 142. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 72. I am gonna go with the over at even money. And last but not least, Rockies, Mariners. You have Bradley Bullock and TBD. Mariners minus 50, Rockies plus 205, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Rocks plus 1.5 minus 102, Mariners minus 1.5 minus 118. I'm going to go with the big dog. I'm going with the Rockies plus 205. They clinched the division. Here's the letdown. Alrighty. Now we will move on to notable soccer. We'll go over results so far for today and then yesterday's results as well, and look ahead to the rest of today. And then we're not going to do tomorrow morning only because I'm going to record earlier tomorrow. All right, yesterday's results. Europa, FC Midtjylland over SK Strom 2-0. PAOK Maccabi 0-0 draw. Braga over Feyenoord 1-0. Dynamo Zagreb over Fenerbahce 3-1. Ludogorets over Malmo 2-1. AS Roma over Nice 2-1. Nottingham Forest Real Betis 2-2 draw. Red Star Celtic 1-1 draw. FC Freiburg over FC Basel 2-1. La Liga Getafe Alaves 1-1 draw. Madrid over Real Vallecano 3-2. Real Sociedad over Mallorca 1-0. MLS Inter Miami over NYCFC 4-0. Portland Vancouver 1-1 draw. Liga MX Cruz Azul Querétaro 2-2 draw. Tigres over Atlas 2-0. Toluca over Monterrey 6-2. America over Atletico 1-0. Santos over Tijuana 1-0. Carabao Cup Man City over Huddersfield 2-0. Newcastle over Bradford City 4-1. Tottenham over Doncaster 3-0. Arsenal over Port Vale 2-0. Dutch Eredivisie AC Alkmaar PC Swally 2-2 draw. Coppa Italia Parma Spezia 2-2 draw. Parma advances 4-3 on penalties. Verona Venezia 0-0 draw. Venezia advances 5-4 on penalties. Como over Sassuolo 3-0. Kings Cup Al Rida over Al Jabal 1-0. Al Feda over Al Jabalin 2-1. Al Kiyash over Al Aroba 3-1. USL. New Mexico over Colorado Springs 2-1. And then today, all right, going on right now, Go Ahead Eagles and FCSB, Lille SK Brand and Europa. And then Genoa Empoli and Coppa Italia, Al Shabab Al Khalod in the Pro League in a final in the Pro League. Alto won over Al Khalish 1-0. All right, 1:30 Osasuna Elche. I may have given this out on the show yesterday. If I did, I apologize. Osasuna minus 1, Elche plus 360, draw plus 220. I'm going with Osasuna minus 110. 3:30, Oviedo, Barcelona. Barcelona minus 550. Oviedo 11 the draw 6-1. I'm gonna go with over 3.5 goals at plus 132. Coppa Italia. So 3 o'clock is Torino Pisa. Torino minus 185. Pisa 5-1. The draw plus 290. I'm gonna go with over 2.5 goals at plus 108. Europa League, 3 o'clock. Aston Villa Bologna. Aston Villa minus 140. Bologna plus 390. Draw plus 240. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals plus 114. FC Utrecht and Lyon. Utrecht plus 195. Lyon plus 140. Draw plus 230. I'm going with Lyon at plus 140. Ferencváros and Plzen. Ferencváros plus 125. Plzen plus 210. Draw plus 240. I'm going with Ferencváros plus 125. Rangers and Racing Genk. Rangers plus 150. Genk plus 165. Draw plus 250. I'm going with the draw plus 250. RB Salzburg FC Porto. Porto minus 145. Salzburg plus 360. Draw plus 280. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals plus 124. FVP Stuttgart, Celta Vigo. Stuttgart minus 130. Vigo plus 310. Draw plus 280. I'm going to go with over 3.5 goals at plus 148. Libertadores tonight, 6 o'clock, Sao Paulo and Liga de Quito. Liga de Quito leads 2-0 in aggregate. And 8:30, Estudiantes de La Plata and Flamengo. Flamengo leads 2-1 on aggregate. And that's it for soccer today. Now we'll move on to college football. No WNBA playoff games tonight, so we'll do that tomorrow. So college football, we have one game tonight. In the American Army, East Carolina. I have East Carolina projected a 6.5-point favorite, total of 54. And it is 4.5 and 52.5. I'm going to lay the 4.5 at East Carolina. Army's been very up and down this year. My numbers are close here, so I'm going to lay East Carolina minus 4.5 at minus 105. Okay, now we'll move on to Thursday Night Football. Good game. Seahawks, Cardinals. My line is Cardinals by 1, total 41 and 7/20. And we have Seahawks 1.5, total 43.5. I'm going to go with the Cards plus 1.5 and plus 108. I understand why Seattle's favored. No James Conner. They've just been more impressive than Arizona, so I understand why they're favored. But this line feels ratty to me, and I have Arizona favored and they're home. So I'm going to take the Cards plus 1.5 and plus 108 to win the game straight up. Okay, now we'll move on to the Ryder Cup. I forgot to bring this up in the intro. I apologize. It begins tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. So the winner, U.S. is favored minus 145. Europe's plus 165. The draw's even money. This is a good one. I know Europe has Rory and some other great players on it. So, U.S. is Scotty, J.J. Xander, Russell Henley, Harry English, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Matt McNeely, Keegan Bradley, Brian Harmon, Andrew Novak, Cam Young, Patrick Kelly, Sam Burns. And then the Euros, Rory, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Rasmus Hojgaard, Tyler Hatton, Shane Lowry, Seb Straka, Lovey Gayberg, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, Matt Wallace, Thomas Tree, Marco Peng, Aaron Ray, and John Rahm. I like the U.S. team better. Scotty is the best guy in the country. I know Rory's on the other side. It's really hard. I think U.S. is favored for a reason. I am going to take them at minus 145 to win and to lift the trophy. Minus 145 to win, minus 146 to lift the trophy. So, top overall scorer, I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler plus 470. But the value plays Xander Schauffele at 14 to 1. In the U.S. top point scorer, Colin Morikawa is interesting at 14 to 1. Your top player, obviously Rory. And I think the wild card and potentially could lead them in points is Matt Fitzpatrick or Justin Rose. They're both 12 to 1. I'm going to say Fitzpatrick for that. So it should be a fun Ryder Cup. I do think U.S. wins, but it'll be very, very close. Okay, now we'll move on to the NHL preseason. We forgot to do yesterday, which is fine. So we'll go over results the last two nights, and then look ahead to tonight. Tuesday, Red Wings over to Blackhawks 3-2. Bruins over to Rangers 5-4 in OT. Sabres over to Jackets 2-1. Devils over to Isles 6-2. Habs over to Flyers 4-2. Sens over to Leafs 3-2 OT. Lightning over to Preds 3-2. Whalers over to Jets 3-2. Stars over to Wild 3-2 in OT. Flames over to Kraken 4-1. Kings over to Golden Knights 3-1. And then yesterday, Panthers over to Canes 4-2. Jackets over to Pens 4-1. Kraken over to Oilers 4-1. Kings over to Ducks 3-0. Canucks over to Flames 3-1. All right, and then tonight, 7 o'clock NHL Network, Islanders, Rangers, Sabres, Red Wings, Flyers, Caps, Leafs, Habs, 8 o'clock Stars, Wild, and 10 o'clock NHL Network, Mammoth, Golden Knights. Okay, now we'll move on to the NFL Thursday bet of the week. So I gave out 2 Sunday bets, and another one's going to be Sunday. I don't feel good about Arizona tonight only because no James Conner. So Tuesday gave out Bucks plus 3.5 and minus 115 against the Eagles. Yesterday gave out Detroit minus 9.5 at home against the Browns. And now today I'm actually going to give out a total. I like the over 40.5 in the game in Ireland between the Vikings and the Steelers. That's low. I know it might be Carson Wentz, but the Viking offense didn't look bad with Wentz. And I think that says more about the Jefferson and Hawkinson and the coaching. And Pittsburgh's defense has not been the same, although it was not bad against New England, but they also had 5 turnovers. So I'm going to go with the over 40.5 and minus 115 between the Steelers and the Vikings. Okay, now we'll move on to the news and notes for today. This is going to be a short show, which is good. So the Liberty on Sandy Brondello's firing. Jonathan Kolb says dismissing Sandy was a proactive move. I disagree with the move. I've said it on the show, and I'll say it again. Unless they're forgetting Becky Hammond from Vegas or Dawn Staley or any of those really good women's coaches in women's college hoops, then I think this was a mistake. Mitchell Robinson on new diet as he says that he ate food from his Nashville farm this offseason. Justin Fields back at Jets practice, so that's good, but remains in the protocol. Chris Godwin a full go in practice. Andy Reid optimistic about Xavier Worthy. Cam Ward limited in practice with ankle and calf injuries. Jamie Benn has a collapsed lung. He'll undergo surgery, will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Patriots sell 8% of ownership stake as total sales to minority investors exceeds $9 billion. D'Amico Ryan says that the C.J. Gardner-Johnson release was his call. He says the decision to move on from him was the best for our team. Titans do not have trade plans, as Brian Callahan says dealing Jarvis Brownlee to the Jets was a one-off situation. The Warriors and the Kings are talking Kuminga, as the Kings are not giving up pursuit. Renewed talks with Golden State earlier this week. The Jazz will not extend Walker Kessler. He'll be a restricted free agent next summer. Quentin Grimes and the Sixers far on a new deal. Terry Rozier to attend Heat camp. Active participant amid trade rumors. Jonathan Kuminga not at Butler's camp. Paul Skeens was hard on himself after a 1.97 ERA. Cal Raleigh has 60 home runs, so he has 4 days to catch or pass Aaron Judge. So he had a 2-homer game, Judge had a 2-homer game, and so did Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, I can't wait to see who wins AL MVP. I think it should be Judge because Judge is the best player. And I think it's disappointing if he doesn't. And it's because he got injured. And that's nothing to take away from Cal Raleigh. L'Jarius Sneed shades Nico Collins. He doesn't seem concerned. The Mets designated Jose Siri for assignment. I'm laughing because I was expecting Siri to show up on my phone. Because I'll never forget when he was on the Rays, a broadcaster said his name, and then Siri showed up on his phone. It was a big deal, and it was on all over Twitter. The Power 4 teams are plotting a college football change as the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 to discuss a variety of college football playoff formats, including expansion to 32 teams. That's absurd. What does this become, the NCAA tournament? DeJounte Murray could return in January, so that's interesting. Ben Johnson praises Saishan Genti as he calls him a phenomenal player ahead of Week 4 matchup. The Blue Jays signed Sejwan Moon, 18-year-old international free agent pitcher. Tariq Skubal visited the player on the Guardians, David Fry, after he was hit by a pitch by Skubal. But that was nice of Skubal and Stephen Vogt to go. That was nice of Skubal to go with Stephen Vogt. That's good sportsmanship. Ramon Laureano has a fractured finger. He'll miss at least the first round of the playoffs. That's not great for the Padres. And good news for the Cubs. Kyle Tucker could return tomorrow against the Cardinals. So that's huge news for the Cubs as the playoffs approach. So it's going to be interesting to see with baseball with obviously the AL East is up for grabs. Is that the only division left? The Mariners? Oh, the Central. The Central and the East. And then the NL West. The Dodgers are probably going to clinch tonight. or they have a chance to. And if they clinch it tonight or today, then they're an auto bet against over the weekend. Okay, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going to go to baseball. And I'm going to go with the Pirates Reds. I didn't give out a pick for that because that was a rain delay and the odds are back up. Reds minus 173, Pirates plus 144. Over under 7.5 minus 10 each way. Pirates plus 1.5 minus 154. Reds minus 5 plus 128. No, I'm gonna go with the over in that. Not gonna make it best bet though. Best bet's a little difficult. I'm just gonna go with the over in the Royals and the A's or the Angels and even money. I don't feel good about it, but that's where I'm gonna go. Over 9.5 Royals Angels. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look at everything for tomorrow and the weekend. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.